over
there's
again.
There's downfalls, there's risks, there's to everything in life.
Everything.
Whether it's driving on the frickin' 405 here from San Diego, or whether it's running down the field on a kick, on a being
How old's your kid?
11.
Or does he play football?
He's a big
Not
boy.
yet.
He's 130.
When I had my podcast, right, I pulled my Rolodex out and I called all my buddies. And 90% of them that were football players, I would ask that question. I said, man, you got a kid. What are you going to do? You know? Not one of them had their fucking kids playing. Not yet. Because they were like me. Man, I had a coach yelling at me for 2/3 of my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Since I was 6.
If I can shorten that period of time for my son, condense it and make it more special during that period and let prior to that period happening him be a kid, I think I'm a good dad.
Don't you think he's going to be at a disadvantage? I don't know if you want to be a professional athlete or not.
Because these kids now train since they're 4.
Exactly. So let's say you start your kid playing football. You didn't play in high school, so he's 14. I've been playing since I was 6. Good luck, buddy.
Okay, I started when I was in 9th grade. Okay.
Freshman?
Yeah.
But times are completely different now.
Different.
Back then, there was one Marinovich, right? Now, everybody's a fucking Marinovich.
Yep.
Everybody's dead.
I'm sorry.
Freak.
Marinovich, remember the kid that was quarterback for USC, whose dad, trained him since he was like 3 years old, to
It's
throw a
like
pass.
the Sage North cut.
I heard, though, the football itself is a little bit different than, say, a skill sport like baseball, because football,
it is.
You can be big and strong and get away with a lot and make some leaps and bounds, right? I mean, in football, depending on the position. I don't think
really depends on the position.
It depends on the position.
But also, if your kid has to have skill. Like, for you to just say it's a meathead sport and you can just jump into it is ridiculous.
Hell no.
You have to be so skilled. So if your kid's just like a normal kid and he's trying to jump in the varsity football game,
I'm saying is he bigger, faster, and stronger than
Well, Gage has taken Muay Thai since he was 5. So I've been working on his hands as a defensive lineman ever since he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never had, he played in like one flag football game for the military down in Pendleton years ago for charity. But as far as organizational football, that was it. Took him to University of Georgia football camp, Kirby Smart last year. 600 kids, deep South, SEC country. How many of those kids do you think had never played football before?
0.
Probably 0.
Other than him. Probably 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so those 2-a-days. Awesome. Moves up to the older kids because of his size. Go to one-on-ones. He's up against some kid who's 14 years old, played football for 4 years, offensive lineman, gets down in his stance. I taught Gage how to get in a 3-point stance 2 days before.
Yeah.
Right around the end.
Over.
Swim move.
Yes.
So he's already got all the move stuff, and you can't teach this. Right?
Yeah.
You can't teach.
His dad's also Goldberg.
Well,
so he's going to have some genetic capability.
Yeah, and his mom's a stunt woman who's a freak.
There you go.
She's got more testosterone than 90% of the dudes I played with. But the kid's got the package. He's a 130-pound, 11-year-old. Like I say, he's been doing Muay Thai for 6 years.
Would you rather him go? If you had to pick, would you rather him go down the football path or the WWE professional wrestling?
Oh, football, dude.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I love wrestling for what it gave me, for the fan base, for a lot of things. But I grew up wanting to play football. I was born in a football helmet. My 2 brothers are 14 and 16 years older than me, and they played at the University of Minnesota when I was born. And I used to go to all their games, and all I ever wanted to do is play football. That was it. Period. End of story.
And then where was the transition from? Obviously, you played in the pros too, and then
I tore my abdomen off my pelvis. Right, the McNabb injury.
That must have been fun.
It sucked, but they tore. Yeah, I played the whole year with it. Well, played on the bench the whole year with it.
Yeah.
But, and then got cut, and they put me on the supplemental draft list. Went to Carolina, got picked up there, and then Capers and I came to the conclusion that it was pretty much a dead end street for me, so we went that way. But I mean, I got forced out of football. And I didn't know what to do. My lawyer called me and said, you might want to get off your ass and go make some money. And, I had been rubbing shoulders with these guys for 15 years, whether it was playing football at University of Georgia because WCW was in Atlanta, and we'd go to Atlanta every weekend to do whatever. And I'd see him all the time. And, they'd always put it to you, man, you ought to wrestle, man. I ain't doing that shit. There is no way I want to be walking down the street and have somebody go, man, there's Goldberg. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Because I was a football player, man.
Yeah.
To me, that was the ultimate in,
masculinity,
cool. Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the man. And I was between a rock and a hard place, and I wanted to apply. I didn't want to be stupid, right? So I wanted to apply everything I'd trained, done prior to something. If there was something applicable I could apply it to, if there was something a career I could apply what I've been working so hard on, then I'm going to make that transition.
I hear you.
Here comes the wrestling. UFC, MMA was big at it was at its embryonic state at the time.
What year is this?
95,
yeah,
94,
UFC
95.
Really not an option at that time.
No, it wasn't an option. But, and I was telling Brian, I had the largest MMA gym in the country at that time, right?
Jeez.
In Atlanta. It was like 40,000 square feet. And Randleman and Coleman and Fry, those dudes were training at my gym.
Love it.
Manu was my Muay Thai instructor. And, I mean, it wasn't an option because they wouldn't have been down there telling me that they're making 15 or 20, whatever. I'm exaggerating, but it was not a financial option by any means.
No.
And so I knew that MMA was going to be big. Okay. So it was that thing where I thought if I liked it, then everybody was going to like it. Well, fuck. And so I started studying tapes, man. And I've been taking Aikido and I've been taking karate for years prior to help with football. And so I just studied everything, man. And I'd watch Pride tapes and I'd watch Pancrase tapes and I'd watch UWF tapes, man. I bought thousands of tapes. And I said, you know what, if I'm going to do this wrestling thing, which I'm kind of embarrassed about, I've got to get some kind of gimmick to give me the ability to walk by a mirror and look at it and go, you know what, that's cool.
Yeah.
And, I was the Mike Tyson of wrestling. I didn't talk for the first 6 months. I studied every shoot move I could find, try to take it and apply it to professional wrestling to where it wouldn't hurt guys and to where they'd be willing to do it. And I figured if I could emulate that as a 6'3", 300-pound dude that can do a back handspring and freaking kick you in the head, and not talk and just crush people, then it might work. And so that was it. It was that simple.
When you go in, do they give you a pitch like, no, we know you want to be the silent, like badass athlete, but we think
I went
there's heel or baby face, right?
I met Vince. I picked up the phone and called the announcer, Jim Ross. Called Jim Ross because he covered me in Oklahoma in football.
Oh, there you go.
So he worked for WWE or WWF at the time. So I visited them before I went to WCW. And I kind of took it all in, and I really wasn't ready for it, to put it lightly. And then I called Bischoff when I got back home, and I said, listen, I've got a developmental contract here, and it expires in X amount of time. If you want me to come down there, I got an idea, and I don't want to be a dick, but I'm not going to be some $500 throw around the ring jobber guy. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
And I went down to the power plant with the mentality of, I'm a pro football player, and these guys are going to hate me, man. They're going to think I'm infiltrating. So they're going to try to run me into the ground. So, man, they tried to kill me at that power plant. But, man, going through 2 days, my entire 3 days, you ain't going to hurt me.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You're not running me into the ground.
Yeah.
So while Sap's over there yakking in the trash can, I'm just laughing because there's no way he can do anything to me that it hasn't already been done before.